let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Max 12.
Hi everybody, today we're going to make these. They're called honey ginger bites. Here we go. In a saucepan over low heat, you're going to combine 1/4 cup of butter and 1/3 of a cup of honey. And you're going to stir this over low heat until the butter is melted. Then you're going to let it come to room temperature. There we go. I heated it until the butter was melted, and we're going to set this aside. In a medium bowl, combine the following ingredients: 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons of finely chopped crystallized ginger. Now, I went to the bulk food store and bought myself some ginger just for this recipe. It's slices of ginger that have been dried and crystallized with sugar. Now, I thought that the recipe called for a cup or something, so I bought a lot of it. Just this bowl full here costs about $6 for this ginger. So I'm going to have to try to find something else to do with this, because that's a lot of ginger. Because 3 tablespoons was about 4 or 5 of these slices, and that was it. It's not something you'd want to. It's not something you'd want to eat like candy. It's soup. Well, you can imagine if you've ever tasted fresh ginger, popping a piece of fresh ginger in your mouth and chewing on it would be quite the experience. It would be very, very spicy. Anyhow, I just wanted to show you what it looked like before it was cut up. So here's the ginger. Go in there. And a half a teaspoon of baking soda. And you blend this together. Oh, I made it sound like a question. You blend this together. Now that our honey and butter mixture has cooled down, pour it into a big bowl. You need 1 slightly beaten egg. Gradually stir in the beaten egg to the honey butter mixture. Now you're going to blend in your flour mixture into your egg honey butter mixture a little bit at a time. And if it gets too difficult, you're going to stir in the last little bit by hand. Here we go. And you are going to put this into the fridge for about an hour to let it cool, and that way it'll be easier to handle. Take your dough, and the recipe says to cut it into 12 pieces. So we're going to cut it into 3, then 6, then 12. There we go, 12 pieces. Okay, so put a little bit of flour on your counter, on your surface that you're working on. Take one of the pieces, and you're going to roll it into about a 10-inch long rope shape. About 10 inches. And then you're going to cut it into 1/2 inch pieces. Okay, and then put them on a ungreased cookie sheet, but I'm putting them on a cookie sheet that has parchment paper on it because it's just easier to clean afterwards. Do you remember that bowl of ginger that I showed you? Yeah. Well, the $6 bowl of ginger, shortly after I showed you that, I decided to clean up the counter, and it fell to the floor and shattered. And the bowls I use are Pyrex, and I don't know if you've ever dropped a Pyrex bowl or a plate. They pretty much explode, is what they do. They explode into a million little pieces, and they're like sharp little slivers, and it goes for, like, I had some in the living room, I had some down at the entranceway and down the hall and from the kitchen. Anyhow, I had to throw out all that ginger because the ginger was covered with shards of glass. And who wants to take a chance? I mean, I could have wiped it off, but, you know, the bowl's white, the sugar on the ginger is white. I'm not going to be feeding anybody broken glass. Not anyone I like, anyway. There we go. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to put them in the oven afterwards for 6 to 8 minutes at 350. So that's not very long at all. That's just a little short cooking time. So you take them out of the oven when they're light brown. These are just perfect. Then it says to cool them on paper towels. So I'm just going to dump this off here. Okay, once they've cooled down a bit, you can eat them just the way they are, or you can roll them in powdered sugar. So that's what I'm going to do. Roll this in powdered sugar, and the recipe in the book has them in little paper cups, and it has 3 little bites in one little cup. Because they're very tiny, as you can see. I'm probably not going to do these one at a time. I'm going to probably put them in a plastic bag and shake them to coat them, I think. Anyway, there you go. Honey ginger bites. These cookies are very good. They are tiny for a reason, because the flavor is very intense inside each of them. If you like ginger, you're going to love these. They're very, very gingery cookies, and they will make a nice addition to any Christmas cookie package. The powdered sugar on the outside is a very nice touch, and it adds a little bit of sweetness, a little bit more sweetness to the cookie. The French word of the day is sprinkle. In French, it depends on what you're sprinkling. If it's cheese, it's parsemé. Sugar and salt would be saupoudré, and water would be aspergé.